Hi everyone, my name's Daryl. So in this week's video, I want to talk about the prices of used GTRs, and based on mileage and the year of the car, as well as other factors, what you might expect to pay for a used GTR in 2023. So I purchased a brand new GTR in the spring of 2011, and I gotta say, every day that I drive it, I just love it. Now, the prices of new GTRs are so expensive, but you can pick up a used one for a reasonable price. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So to simplify things a bit, I'm going to price out three types of GTRs, and I'm going to go by the platform name. The first of the GTRs was built from 2009 to 2011, and it's known as the CBA. The second, known as the DBA, was built from 2012 to 2016. Finally, the latest GTRs were built from 2017 to current, and they are commonly known as EBAs, although people don't like to call them that sometimes. The GTRs do tend to hold their value very well. In fact, since production started, only 13,000 GTRs have been sold in the United States, so finding one can be difficult. Another factor that might be allowing the GTRs to hold their value is the fact that vendors have stepped up. Transmission failures and bell housing failures still exist, but now you don't have to buy a new transmission or a new bell housing. In fact, you can get them repaired or rebuilt by a really quality vendor. So I looked at a couple of previous videos that were done in about 2020 that looked at the values of GTRs. They said that CBAs were about 50,000, DBAs 60, and EBAs 70,000. But if I look at current pricing, and I'm getting this from CarGurus.com, you can see between 2020 and 2022, the price has gone up about 29%. If I look at the current GTR prices from CarGurus.com, it basically says that CBAs are around 70,000, that DBAs are about 90,000, and EBAs are like about 120,000, which is just crazy. So when I saw that, I really felt like I had to do some more searching. And so I went to cars.com and I wanted to get real car values over cars that were being sold today. So when I did that, I looked at the platforms and I wanted to basically look at what cars.com thought were great values. And what I came up with when I averaged those pricing out is the CBAs were on average around $65,000 with an average mileage of 50,000. DBAs were around 80,000 with an average mileage of 40,000, and EBAs were about 115,000 with an average mileage of 15,000. So I feel that this pricing is pretty reflective on what you could expect to pay or sell your GTR for in 2023. Of course, as the age of the car and the mileage goes up, you can expect to pay a little bit of a difference. When I looked at the values in Kelley Blue Book, for every year of age, I would either add or deduct 5%, as well as for every 10,000 miles, I would add or deduct about 5% from the value. So let's take my 2012 GTR as an example. I daily drove it for quite a while, and it has 120,000 miles on it. So the 2014 example that I gave, it's 2 years older than that. And so I would take off 10% of the value of the car. It also has 120,000 miles. And the example I gave was for 40. So that's 80,000 of additional miles, basically 5% for every 10,000 miles, which comes to 40%. Take 40% and 10% together is 50%. I would expect a 2014 to get me about $80,000. Well, mine, I'm probably only going to get about $40,000 for it, and that's what you would probably expect to pay. So the other thing that you should consider is whether or not the GTR that you're looking at is a single owner car. Unfortunately, not very many GTRs are single owner cars. They're kind of known as the slut of the sports car industry because how many people have owned them. So for instance, when I looked at cars.com and I found my 155 GTRs that were for sale, only about 15 of them were single owner cars. I would probably expect to pay probably at least about 10% more for a single owner car, because I can talk to that owner, find out exactly what has been done to that GTR. So the other factor to consider is whether or not that GTR you're looking at is stock. Many owners, and I would say most owners of GTRs, modify the cars. Maybe you'd pay extra for a GTR that has been modified, but I would only do so if it was done by a reputable shop and tuner. So many things can go wrong with the GTRs, and a bad tune can really cause you a lot of trouble, as well as extra horsepower can also cause problems with the GTR. Unfortunately, a lot of GTR owners out there will modify their cars and then will take the parts off and retune it back to stock and then sell it saying that it's a stock car when it actually wasn't. So that's it. I really hope this video gives you a good idea on what you should be purchasing for or selling your used GTR for. Now let's go out and find a used GTR. I'll have a video that I'll be creating with tactics and strategery for finding your used GTR, and that'll be linked on the end screen once it's published. So as always, if you got some value from this video, please like it. You really wouldn't believe how much YouTube looks at the likes and how much that can help my channel. And I hope to see you on the next one again very soon.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.